Hello everyone. Today I would like to discuss the nature of normative ethics. In my book, Ethics and Business, in chapter 3, I discuss two types of normative ethics, if you like. On the one hand, we have ethics for people, and on the other hand, we have ethics from people. To use more ethics jargon, ethics for people could be defined as the more universalist or absolutist theories, and ethics from people could be defined as the more relativist theories. And I will explain this a little bit more into detail using a classic example about throwing a brick through a window. So let's go back to the concepts of universalist and absolutist theories. They can be defined in my book as ethics for people. And it basically means that ethics is something that exists regardless those who are doing ethics. So it is basically something that is independent of the individual characteristics of the person who takes an ethical decision. In case of universalist theories, it means that ethics is something you can always use in any given situation. A good example is utilitarianism. It's basically result-driven, so it doesn't really matter in what particular ethical dilemma you will use it. You will always have to select the option that leads to the greatest happiness for the greatest number. The more absolutist theories assume that there is moral truth to be found out there. So certain things you do, certain actions are always right or are always wrong. A good example could be deontology. The more deontological theories basically assume that there is moral truth, such as the categorical imperative of Immanuel Kant. When you stick to that, you will always do the right thing. Then, on the other side, we have the more relativist theories, ethics from people. It makes quite a difference who is acting, who is the moral actor in a particular case. So the individual backgrounds, the intention, the characteristics, the emotion, perhaps the relationships that a person is involved with, play a dominant role in the question, what is the right thing to do in a given situation? That means that ethics is way more flexible. So let me explain all this by using a famous example. Just imagine you are a burglar and you plan to steal valuable jewelry of an elderly woman. And you know that she is not hearing very well, so probably when she is sound asleep, she will not hear you throwing a brick through her window. And so you can just take all her belongings without getting caught. So, at nightfall, you plan to commit your crime. You walk to the house. It's dark, so you assume that the woman is sound asleep. You throw the brick through the window, and when you look through the window, you're a bit amazed because the woman is laying down on the couch and she seems to be not very much okay. And as a matter of fact, it appears that there is this carbon monoxide poisoning going on. But because you threw the brick through the window, fresh air gets into the room and the woman regains consciousness. She starts to breathe again. As a matter of fact, you've saved her life. Obviously, you run away as fast as you can. Now, the fundamental question we could ask ourselves here is, did the burglar do something ethical? When you consider this from a ethics for people perspective, so the universalist or the absolutist theories, the answer would probably be yes. Saving someone's life is always the right thing to do, and that's what he did, so he did a good thing. Or, when you consider this from a utilitarian perspective, his actions led to the greatest happiness for the greatest number. After all, I think a lot of people will be happy that he saved a woman's life. On the other hand, when you consider this from the more relativist perspectives, so ethics from people, we could ask ourselves the question, if he indeed did something right, because his intention was different. He wanted to rob the woman after all. So it makes quite a difference from what perspective you look at normative ethics. Do you consider that ethics is a fixed thing that can exist regardless the individual who's taking an ethical decision? Well, in that case, you probably tend towards the more universalist and absolutist theories, ethics for people, and then your conclusion will probably be that the burglar did the right thing here. If it's the other way around, if you consider that ethics depends on the particular context of the individual who is taking an ethical decision, then in this case, probably the conclusion would be that the burglar did not necessarily do the right thing. This is just moral luck, if you like. Well, I hope this particular example helps you a little bit in studying normative ethics and studying chapter 3 of this book. Thank you very much for your kind attention and good luck.